Okay. The flow of today's lesson is going to be, of course, we're going to deal with linear graph, which is straight line graph, and we're going to solve simultaneous equations via graphical method. So you need your graph paper at your end, right? Otherwise, it's going to be a bit difficult. Okay. And the last 15 minutes or so, we will get into Kahoot. So some entertainment, good questions for you all to know. Size up your standards, your performance, and where you are, that kind of stuff. So that's pretty good. Okay. First and foremost, I'll give you some quick notes. Okay, I'm going to scribble something, and just tell me whether you're able to see my scribbling. Can all of you? Give me a thumbs up if you can. All good? All right, fantastic. Okay, that's what I need. Okay, straight line graph. Oh, what you need to do. A straight line graph is always supported by this. Sorry.
That's fine. You need to share.
Come again?
You need to share a screen.
Oh, okay. Do you see it? Okay. Aulun, you okay? Are you able to see?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, good. Well done. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Sometimes just happens. Okay, straight line equation. This is the first thing you need to know. Why? It's not good. Okay. Y equal mx plus c. You saw that? So I can draw something by the side to help you guys. So this is a graph. Let's say this is this at this point is one, this is one, this is two. Let's say this is 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, what do you understand by M? What is M? You guys can make a guess. Okay. A straight line can be moving upwards from left to right, or it could be sloping downwards from happens. All right. Downwards. Hang on. Okay, downwards. All right. Okay, M. M actually refers to the slope of the line. Okay, I'll call this AB, all right? So line AB, this point here, and this point here, right? AB, it's a line. I'll call it AB. So M represents slope of the line. So that's what you need to know. What is slope? Slope actually steepness, all right? Steepness of the line. And M simply means gradient. Okay, so what's M? M is actually gradient. And what is gradient? Gradient is actually slope of the line or steepness, right? You guys need to take note of this. So that's the first thing you need to know. The next thing is, what is C? What is C? They call it y-intercept. What is y-intercept? Now, this is a different color. You see this point A? The y-intercept is 4. All right? So what is y-intercept? It simply refers to the line which cuts the y-axis. So this is your y-axis, remember, and this is your x-axis, all right? So you need to know that. Your x-axis is horizontal, your y-axis is vertical. So y x, all right? So y-intercept simply refers to this point A. The slope cuts the y-axis at 4, right? So that is your C, which is your y-intercept, which is given by 4 in this case, all right? So the important thing is now, you know what C is, but what is M? You know M is gradient, slope, and all those stuff. But how do you calculate? I'm going to use blue, all right? Okay, there's a formula for gradient M equals to y1 minus y2 divided by x1 minus x2. This is the formula to find gradient, okay? Can take this down, all right? Later I'll give you the coordinates. You need the coordinates, and I'll give you the coordinates of A and B, so you'll be good. There's another way to find gradient. I'll highlight, okay? There's another way. I'm going to do it in blue over x. So basically, the shortcut, if the slope forms a right angle triangle, the slope cuts the x-axis at 2, cuts the y-axis at 4, and it forms a triangle, right? Right angle triangle, right? No. So if it's able to form a right angle triangle, there's a simpler way of finding the gradient. Okay, simpler way is m equals to y over x. This is given by y and this is given by x. What is y? Basically represents the number of units which forms. That means 0 to 4. So y is in this case will be 4 units, because from this point to the point A, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has got 4 units. For x, from 0 to 2, it is 2 units, right? From 0 to 0.2, 2 units. From 0 to 0.4, it is 4 units. So your gradient is actually 2. Okay, but I'm not done yet. I've given you the easiest method to solve this. If your line cuts both the y-axis and x-axis and forming a right angle, you can see that this is a right angle, right? So I can use a different, see, it's a right angle, right? Yeah. Okay. So now, one important point for you to remember. Try to remember this. You can memorize it if you want. If the line is sloping upwards from left to right, okay, like this, the gradient is always positive. Okay. M is always positive. If the line is sloping downwards from left to right, this one, the gradient will be negative, right? Positive gradient. So in this case, this is the same as this, right? The slope, the line is sloping downwards, so it must have a negative gradient. Of course, if you found the gradient is 2, right? But it has to be minus 2 because the slope is sloping downward. So your gradient, actually this one is minus 2, right? So m is actually minus 2. So that, so now I can, you know the equations y equal mx plus c. So what happens here is, I'm going to write it down, dark green. So y equal, what's your m? M is your gradient. Gradient is minus 2. X remains plus c. C is your y-intercept, which is 4, right? So this is how you derive. Okay, so I've given you a simple example, but this is good enough for you to comprehend. And I'll go one more step to do. I want to use this formula. This one, to find the gradient. I should get minus 2. But before we can do that, you need to know the coordinates of point A and point B. K. Remember your coordinates always, okay, yeah, I just do it here, is always X followed by Y. Okay, so at point A, your X is 0, right? See, 0. Your Y is 4, so it's 0, 4. That is your coordinate. For point B, your X is 2, your Y is 0, right? There you go. So I've got the coordinates. This is the coordinate of A, this is the coordinate of B. So you need to know that. Remember, you always start with X followed by Y. Okay, must take note, all right? This is important, and put a star. Okay. You have this, and you have this. So I'm going to use the formula. The formula is not difficult. Just see, look at what I'm going to do now. I'll use a different color if I can. Okay. A is 0 and 4. B is 2 and 0. Okay. So I've got the coordinates. Now I'm going to label them. This I call it x1, y1, x2, y2. You saw that? This is critical, right? This part here. Okay. Point A, I've labeled it as x1, y1. Point B, I've labeled it as x2, y2. And now I'm going to use the formula to find the gradient. Of course, I got the gradient earlier, which is -2. Let me see whether I'm right or wrong. All right. Okay. Using the form, let me see whether I can give some space. No, never mind. I'll squeeze it in. So M. Okay, let me erase this on this. Too much of yellow. Back to red. Okay, the formula is M equals to y1 minus y2. So your y1 is 4. Your y2 is 0. What's your x1? Your x1 is 0. Your x2 is -2, right? See, I've gotten this from here, from these two. So what happens here now? So it's 4 divided by -2, which gives me -2. So this is the same as this. That means my answer is right. Right? So you must know this. You can use this. If it forms a right angle triangle, so it's easier for you to know the movement on the y-axis and the movement on the x-axis. All right? So in this case, the movement. Hello? Can't hear you. Unmute, please. Unmute and talk. You can use the text box to chat with me. If you're shy, that's fine. But otherwise, just if you want to talk, just unmute and talk to me. That's fine. Aulun, are you okay so far? How about you, Kaden? All right. I mean, I can slow down, but it's good for you to know this. These are the fundamentals. If you know this, you can progress far. Okay. So done a comprehensive coverage. So take this down before we move on to the next question. Yeah. Please, all of you, get your graph paper. You need your graph paper because we'll be doing a few questions, all right? Hopefully we have time to do, but definitely at least one. Okay, come on. Get your graph paper. Okay, can we move on to the next slide? All good? Okay, next one. All right, you look. Now you got the equation.